this is Christina Barr. You're watching Black Tea News. Well, hello, welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr, and today we're going to be talking about these um, allegations with Russell Brand, but mainly YouTube has decided to go ahead and demonetize him, and he makes a lot of money on YouTube. So that's pretty interesting, especially since, you know, he hasn't been charged yet. There's pretty serious allegations, but it's just basically out in the court of public opinion right now. So we'll be talking about I guess the commentary surrounding it and how that's going to go, but the jump to the gun to demonetize them through the process of not even like legal stuff happening yet is pretty I guess alarming, because you never know when someone else might come for you, whether something allegations are true or false, and then they just pull the rug out from underneath you. So we'll be talking about that. Also, uh, Libs of TikTok did a story reporting about a school where, and apparently this has happened before, but a boy won homecoming queen, and I just can't imagine. We live in a very weird society today, but some of it is ladies. If you don't stand up and for it, it's going to keep happening. If that's what you're okay with, and I guess that's what's going to happen. Um, so if you want to be homecoming queen and prom queen and I don't know, Miss America, make sure that those things are for women. You gotta stand up and say something. I think a lot of dads and stuff should just stick up and say something as well. And I think if I had to guess, I think fathers are going to be the ones who really um push some common sense back into the world. And I also want to show you guys this clip of Bernie Sanders talking about the UAW strike, and he was asked about a 32 work week, and it just didn't make any sense to me quite what he was saying. I mean, I followed along, but I was like, I don't know. He's a socialist. What else can I say? But anyway, before we jump into everything today, I want to encourage you guys to go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, different articles, different videos, etc. Please check out some different merchandise that's available at the store, blacktnews.com. Like the I'm not the victim you're looking for shirt. We got that. We got other stuff as well that you guys can check out. You guys know that I like to write, and I have plenty of books that I've written myself. And I have 17 that are published, and I have two that are nonfiction, and I have the rest are fiction. So you guys can check out my children's chapter books and historical fiction and all kinds of other things. But I talk about my book, of course, God is Blatantly Against Abortion, quite a bit, and that's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You can get it paperback. You guys can get it in Kindle. So go ahead and check that out. Happy reading. It covers theology. It covers rights. It covers philosophy. So and it's funny because there's a lot of things that Democrats are denying as far as like how radical they are in some positions. I'm like, okay, well, I've a lot of things sourced in my book as I talk about that particular topic. And because, and I touched on this yesterday when I was just talking about some of my feelings regarding Trump's recent comments on Meet the Press. um there's only really two consistent positions. We can admit people find compromises, but as far as like your ideology, there's two consistent positions, and one is that if it's a life, you should protect that life when it is a life. And the other position is, well, it's in the mother's body, therefore she gets to do whatever she wants to, and that ultimate goal philosophy takes you to all the way to the point of no restrictions at all. By the way, Gavin Newsom, I don't have this in the queue, but maybe we'll play it he refused to, say a limitation. So it's funny how that keeps happening, guys. It's funny how that keeps happening. But anyway, I talk about a lot of that stuff already in my book. You guys can check it out on Amazon. And if you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. It costs to stream. It costs to run my website. So if you guys can support in that kind of way, I thank you guys very much. There's a link in the description if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. And, the Bible says, yeah, I'm not because you ask not. So I do ask at least once or twice, in the broadcast. But there's different needs that we have. Like I said, different overheads. There's equipment that kind of broke down that I need to get fixed and other things. So if you can, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys watching live and watching back, etc. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys can do super chats. If you're watching on Facebook, you guys can send stars. So I have a clip that I thought was pretty humorous. And I had some tweets though that I had highlighted that I thought were pretty funny. Let me there was one from the Babylon Bee that made me genuinely laugh out loud. So I'm gonna share my screen for a second. Laugh out loud is a more like maybe at least a chuckle out loud, but that's a lot from me. I do laugh out loud sometimes, though. You guys have seen me laugh out loud. But this was pretty funny. And I thought maybe they should actually do this a little bit. New communist food delivery service just delivers you empty containers, then shoots you. Now, of course, I don't think they should literally send someone to someone's house and then shoot them. But what if someone's like, "Oh, what is this?" and they get a communist meal, and then they just have empty containers. Like, I hope that'll teach you a lesson. So I thought it was humorous. So that I thought it was a funny headline from Babylon Bee because it's just so true. Anyway, let me show you this clip from Fetterman. He was asked just about the state of what's going on in Congress and in fighting with the Republicans and budget and all kinds of different stuff. So he had a line that was kind of interesting, and it's funny how Chris Hayes just kind of ignores it. But I guess they're pretty programmed to just be like, don't react to the crazy, just act like nothing happened.
How things have operated since that deal was a bipartisan deal was struck for certain top line spending numbers for all of the funding bills that have to be passed to make the budget, keep the government running. The Senate has basically been delivering those and passing them by big 91-7 bipartisan majorities. The House today looks like it's falling apart. You've already got 17 no votes in that House Republican caucus saying we're not passing anything. What do you think's happening here?
Yeah, I truly, I was very proud of my colleagues, because they're really about governance. That's what it is. And on the other, the House, the whatever they call themselves, Team America or whatever they call themselves, I just like, bring your vote. Otherwise, they need to go hump a different leg.
You were in, you drove I think it's a Ford from Braddock.
Hump a different leg. But okay. All right, that's a bit of an odd thing there, Mr. Senator. But there's been a big controversy regarding his clothes because they're supposed to be dressed appropriately, and they're gonna just kind of let it slide for Fetterman because he likes to not wear suits and to wear hoodies and different stuff, and so people were like this. But they still expect, like, if you go visit or something and want to go in the chambers, you're gonna have to dress in a jacket and tie and whatever, and ladies are gonna have to, I don't know if the tie is required, but you dress nice. For the peons out there, you gotta abide, but Senator Fetterman can just kind of be bummy, I guess. And people are like, obviously he shouldn't get this special kind of treatment. They shouldn't just throw out tradition all of a sudden. And if there's a reason why they feel like they need to just throw out tradition because he's unwell or something like that, and prefers to dress. He's always dressed that way, and he can get over it. If that's just the matter. If there's something more serious, then they could just be honest about it. Um, but Nate Silver, who was with 538, he's no longer with 538. I think he like sold the company and then they like fired him, I think. Um, but he had tweeted out like he wants, he's like, how about we start a new party that doesn't care about Lauren Bobart's, and regarding her, hands-on, um, touchy feely stuff that went on in the Beetlejuice performance and Fetterman's clothes. He's like, can we get a party that doesn't care about either one of those things? And then Fetterman retweeted Nate Silver and said, I dress like how you predict. And I didn't understand the viciousness of to dunk on Nate Silver like that. I mean, Nate Silver, he just, got utterly destroyed after 2016, um because was just 100% thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So he got reamed as far in other pollsters for totally missing that. So he's got some bad predictions. So that means that Fetterman knows that he doesn't dress well. And I'm not surprised that he just openly admits that. But it was just so bizarre that he decided to dunk on Nate like that. It was really unnecessary because he was, not coming at him and was just trying to say that nobody should care about how you dress. And then, you know, he's just like, let me take this ball and you're under the basketball hoop and I'm just gonna dunk it right on top of your head. So how very interesting. But anyway, people are rushing out to, show solidarity with UAW workers, people like Fetterman and other folks. And Trump is actually going out there, or claims to be. And I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, it was mentioned a little bit in the interview from Meet the Press about the UAW and Trump. Um, the, the union head has not endorsed Biden. There's no reason to believe that he will not endorse Biden. Is he just withholding it to kind of put the squeeze on him a bit to get more things out of the strike or whatever? Maybe, but Biden has always been in their pocket, you know? So he is a union man. So, you know, why wouldn't why wouldn't they? Now I know there's like UAW people who supported Trump. Trump got like crossover like blue collar support in 2016 and still some in 2018. I mean 2020 as well. But the union they send out mailers and stuff telling you how you should vote, who you should vote for, So that's how it is. And so they're not going to just be happy to about Trump coming and just, give him a really fair shot, but I guess he'll shoot a shot regardless. And Trump in the interview was kind of like, "Oh, well, he probably won't endorse me." And he blamed, Biden's policies and the government for pushing, electrical cars and stuff and um driving a lot of problems that the workers um get to reap the benefits of. I mean, reap the repercussions of, rather. So there was a statement about Trump coming. So I'm just gonna put that up real quick. Every fiber of our union is being poured into fighting the billionaire class, an economy that enriches people like Donald Trump at the expense of workers. We can't keep electing billionaires and millionaires that don't have any understanding what it is like to live paycheck to paycheck and struggle to get by and expecting them to solve the problems of the working class. So that's the comment about Trump coming. So yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath about getting that sort of support. I don't know if how many people on the line might appreciate it because people go out and picket and they don't necessarily want to, but they want to get paid, so they go out and they do it. So I'm sure if he does go out among the picket line and stuff, and see some people, or I'm sure, I don't know, he would do that. Um, or if he's going to just stop in Detroit somewhere and make some like I don't know exactly what his plans are, but do I foresee him just marching with some people, or just doing some handshakes or whatever? I don't know, because some of those situations can get pretty hostile as well. So um, they're not going to bend on versus Trump and Biden. They're going to absolutely support Biden. Absolutely support Biden, unless they wanted to support somebody else. But Biden is firmly their guy. As far as the comment about how they need to stop electing billionaires and instead, well, just don't elect billionaires. The thing about that is, people will say, well, they like Trump or someone like Trump because they don't answer to anyone. And so you can get someone, who Biden made a joke way back in the day about, like, the reason why hasn't sold out is because he's like, I tried. They said, come back when you're a little bit older. So he's joked about being for sale, but we know that he is for sale. And he's wealthy himself. So just because you don't have Donald Trump money doesn't mean that you're not able to be corrupted. I think it's much more meaningful to have someone who knows how to run a business, knows what it's like to work, but also run a business, so you know what it's like to not just be a worker, but what it takes to build something and maintain something, and what the different struggles that will come from needing to be that person to supply for your family, and but also running the business and also needed to supply for your family, what it's like to think about how you're going to make payroll and how you're going to make wages for your employees. And that's like the biggest expense, and you're trying to figure out how you all make it work, and you look at all these government regulations that they want to force upon your business that's going to choke it. So if you're a business owner and you know how that works, you know what to push back against and say, like, this is going to kill what we got here. This is going to kill what we got here if you keep trying to push these different regulations and stuff. So and if you're very good at what you do, one day you will probably be a millionaire and perhaps a billionaire. So I don't understand the I maybe I could understand more disdain for the billionaire, but for the millionaire, um, that's pretty wild to me. It's pretty wild to me. Do we really want bums like Bernie Sanders, who's never had like real jobs in their lives and have just been like living off of government teats and stuff? I mean, he has his own money, successful books, and so he has money, but as far as like hard working, like every day, like the people who are protesting on the picket line, no, no, um, absolutely not. So anyway, I want to play this clip from Bernie Sanders. He was on CNN, and he was asked about the 32 work week. So if you don't know, they want to do a 32-hour work week. And that's something that Bernie Sanders has been wanting for a minute and advocating for. And I thought his answer was pretty interesting. Not in a, oh, that's an interesting, smart thing. It was just interesting enough that we're gonna commentate on it. So, give me one second. I was uploading it, now it's processing. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go.
We are looking at an explosion in this country of artificial intelligence and robotics. And that means that the average worker is going to be much more productive. Worker productivity is going to increase significantly. The question as a nation that we have got to ask ourselves is, who is going to benefit from that increased productivity? Is all of that new income and wealth being created by worker productivity going to go to the people on top, or are workers going to benefit? So right now, in my view, I happen to believe that as a nation, we should begin a serious discussion, and the UAW is doing that, about substantially lowering the work week. People in America are stressed out for a dozen different reasons. And that's one of the reasons why life expectancy in our country is actually in decline. People are overwhelmed. They got to take care of their kids. They got to worry about healthcare. They got to worry about housing. They're worried. It seems to me that if new technology is going to make us a more productive society, the benefit should go to the workers. And it would be an extraordinary thing to see people have more time to be able to spend with their kids, with their families, to be able to do more in cultural activities, get a better education. So the idea of making sure that artificial intelligence, robotics benefits us all, just not the people on top, is something absolutely we need to be discussing.
So now people in the plant and stuff, they'll work like, sometimes they'll work like 4 hours but I mean, not 4 hours, like 4 days, but they'll have like really, really long shifts and stuff. But to have like 32, it's like 32 hours. And I guess everything from there would be like overtime and stuff. But, um, this idea from Bernie that technology would, first of all, life today for us living in this time is such a blessing compared to um back when they first started making cars at Ford and all these other places, and what life was like on the assembly lines and so on. Technology has made our lives so much better. If you're working on a farm, your life is so much better than it was back in the day. That so much more that you can have with equipment versus you having to, I don't know, keep birthing children so you can have laborers for your farm. It life is so much better today than it has been in the past, and much of those advancements are due to, I mean, not just technology, but also fossil fuels and stuff. That's the case for some of the stuff that's in the book for the moral case for fossil fuels and stuff. How our world has just advanced so much because of this resource, which people like Bernie, all they care about is their climate agenda. They don't care if it will crash the economy. They don't care, if it will severely hurt us, in the end, or if we're not quite ready to get to where they want us to go. They don't care. It's just kind of their religion. But if they're saying that AI and other things will make people more productive, which technology has already made everyone more productive as far as what they can produce. Which it's just funny. The first time I heard that clip and he's talking about AI and technology, my first thought was like, is he going to talk about how all these workers can be replaced? And he says no, like these workers are going to be aided with this equipment, therefore they're going to be able to do more, therefore they shouldn't have to work as much because they should be able to enjoy that time with their family, and they should get more money too. And it shouldn't just be the companies who exist to have a bottom line and to make money. It shouldn't be them just making money. Well, if a company wants to voluntarily have 32 hour weekdays, that's fine. If they feel they can get everything that they need done that's important within a particular amount of time, and then have a really good, family work balance, and all kinds of stuff. If a company wants to do that, that's great. If you got a pulley strike and you're trying to leverage your power to make the car industry, do that, I don't think that's great, um and to a lot of people working at other jobs, and they're working 40 hours or more, they're kind of like, what are you, freaking babies? um like, grow up a little, like just go and do your work, it's good as far as the car companies getting more stuff produced. But if you become too much of a liability, what happens when they're just like, you know what? If we can have less days because our technology is so great, maybe we can afford to just have less people. Maybe they would just go with we can afford to have less people and we'll get rid of some more people and just up the technology. And everywhere you go, it doesn't have to be like a car plant or something. Everywhere you go, there's just more and more technology. You go into like a McDonald's or something. If it's busy or whatever, they'll be like, "Hey, order your stuff at the kiosk. Don't talk to me. Like go order at the kiosk, and we'll make." Well, they just need people to basically build the food. They don't even the machines can take your order. There's a McDonald's not too far from me, maybe like 15 minutes or something. But you pull up and the machine just takes your order in the drive-through or whatever, and it's pretty accurate. So more accurate than I think um eh, there's a lot of people. So depending on what neck of the woods you go into, because you don't always get the best service in some areas. So people will keep going this route of technology in it and supporting that, and they'll make you train a machine for a little while until they ultimately don't need you, and that's the path just the path that they'll go. That's just the path that they will go. So don't make it easier, more compelling for these people to push you out of a job. Don't you do that at your own risk, man. At your own peril. At your own peril. But yeah, the companies bought their bottom line. Their goal is to make money. And if they invest, because it's not the worker who's buying the equipment and other things that will help them do the job faster. The company's still investing in that, making a financial investment in that. It's not like again, it's not like it's a skill that someone else has acquired that makes them so much better. It's something that the company is investing in that they're utilizing to make, you know, the process faster. So Bernie's thinking is so weird to me. Again, but if companies want to go that route, I think that's absolutely fine. I think that's absolutely fine. Like if you have a workload and people finish early and people don't need you, 5 days a week or whatever, that's fine. I mean, that's a dream for a lot of people that you can make your own time because of a skill. But that's not usually the same when it's not about skilled labor. Not that I'm saying you don't learn how to do certain things or whatever in the plant or whatever, but that's on the job training for a lot of different stuff. Anyway, let's move on. So there's been a lot of talk about the Russell Brand allegations. He's obviously huge on YouTube, huge on Rumble, and he has his own show that he launched on Rumble, and he's an interesting guy. Russell Brand, I didn't like him at all back in the day when he was like super promiscuous and making, all the dirty jokes. And I remember being so offended because the Jonas Brothers were going around saying they're virgins, and I think he was the one who's like, "I'll pay anyone for like proof that they're not," or something, and he was like talking about them, and or maybe somebody else said the proof thing, but he was making jokes about them, and he was talking about them. I'm like, oh, that is so disgusting. People can keep themselves if they want to do that, and which me and other my family and other folks, we push, that you can and you should save yourself till marriage and stuff. So I thought it was nice. All these Jonas Brothers, Disney, they're holding up virginity and all that stuff. So much of that is a brand, and a lot of these kids were had a lot of issues behind the scenes. But I didn't like Brand and his brand and the sort of things that he would push and that he'd even joke about. So I would not even he started to be putting movies and different stuff. I'm like, I'm not even going to see a film if it has Russell Brand. I'm like, I won't even see a movie. So, and I didn't, and I wouldn't. I'm like, oh, Russell Brand's doing a voice there for a bunny. I don't think so. I did not like Russell Brand. So it is kind of trippy that he's had this sort of big, he's grown up and had a lot of sort of, went on a spiritual journey and is just living his life different, with his family, and makes a lot of good points politically. He's not on the right, but he's a thinker. And he's someone who likes to engage in conversations, and he doesn't like big establishment stuff. He's talked a lot about um, big kind of complex things that, folks in the right, point out. One thing, stuff regarding the pandemic and, pharmaceutical companies and the transference of wealth during that time, all sorts of things like that, things that people in higher institutions of power probably wouldn't like that someone of his popularity is talking about. So there were some allegations that were about to come out, and so he preemptively said, hey, I've caught wind and stuff that there's going to be some pretty serious allegations that are going to come out, and I have evidence refuting some of that stuff. And he said, I'm an open book. I've done some really terrible things in the past, really creepy things in the past, or said some things, and that that have written about things, and if you use those things, it's one thing, but I'm not that person anymore. But everything that I did in the past, though, was consensual. And so he denied it. He denied those things. And I've some of them are creepy and just gross. There was one with a 16-year-old girl, and which she's from the UK. Age of consent is it earlier than ours, so distasteful in our opinion, and probably most people over there. But it's, I guess, not illegal or anything. But there is an actual like sexual assault penetration sort of allegation. So there's some pretty serious allegations there. And so I've been watching people react to it. Ben Shapiro was like this, I consider him a friend. He's done some things in the past that, I don't like, and I wouldn't have liked him in the past. And he's, turned his life around. And, that doesn't mean that he's innocent of these things, but Ben Shapiro really talked about the timing of these allegations. And a lot of people are like, oh, the simulation, oh, the allegations are coming out for Russell. They came out, I've seen people compare Russell, and they're like, and they came from Andrew Tate. And I'm like, Andrew Tate is a creep, man. I would want to be in the same tweet. I was Russell Brand. But they'll say stuff like that. So and that's been the big push. So I want to say I appreciate the steps that he has taken to put his life on a better path. I would have never thought that if you asked me, well, I was never a Jonas Brothers person, like fan or anything, but one of them has a podcast. Would I rather listen to Russell Brand or the Jonas Brothers? Like, it's Russell Brand, no doubt. But who would I probably enjoy a coffee with? I don't like coffee, but who would Russell Brand, I guess. Life just is strange in that kind of way. However, that doesn't, just because he's turned things around, doesn't mean that these allegations aren't true. But just because he was promiscuous and wild and did unseemly and distasteful things doesn't mean that that he's a criminal. And so you just have to look at the facts and as they kind of come out and see. I don't think he's released things really to rebut. He said he had some witnesses or something that could rebut some stuff. So you're just gonna have to wait a bit. But YouTube isn't waiting. So they suspended Russell Brand's monetization. And that's disturbing. Before I read this article from the BBC to read a little bit about what's going on with YouTube, um, I do want to point out that just because there is a coordinated attack, obviously, from the media and your enemies, doesn't mean that what they're doing, though their tactics are transparent, it doesn't mean that what they're saying isn't true either. And like there's a book I talk about, quite often, Color Communism and Common Sense, about how it's written by Manning Johnson, I think his name is, about how he left communism, and he would explain how communists would recruit black people. They'd use legitimate grievances, racial different grievances and tensions and stuff, to get into communism, but they could never like try to promote blackness or their community or whatever, and actually do with solutions or whatever. If it would undermine communism, they're recruited to be communists, and they're there to push communism, period. So if you wanted to defect, they would make sure that to set you up with different things to they entrap you in all kinds of different ways. Like maybe they send this fine white woman up to you and to have some kind of affair, and they make sure they get, have it different elements recorded or whatever, and have, evidence, photos, whatnot. So even if you wanted to come out and expose them, people would damage your reputation instantly. So they trap people into the world, and then they don't expect you to leave. They don't they know where the skeletons are buried. So once you're on their side, they don't want to let you go, even if you have a change of ideology, even if you have a big massive, issue, intellectually, spiritually, morally, whatever. They got you. And you can try to defect. They'll destroy you, and then they'll make it so that it doesn't even matter if you fought against them. And I doubt those tactics have just dissolved. I'm pretty sure that's the way that people still do business, in a lot of media spheres, ideological spheres, political spheres, etc. They find something on you, you know, and then they wait to destroy you. People outside of like politics and whatever do that. There was this one story about someone who there was a kid who said the N-word one time, and they saved it. So when they got, they graduated, they like aha. And then the kid didn't get accepted to college or something. It was a really wild story. But people do that. They'll find out something and they'll hold that information. Because Ben was saying he got Russell Brand, if he did all these things in the past, because these allegations between like 2006 and 2013, he did all these things in the past. If he did do these things, why are they just now coming out? And he was a darling back then for these people. Not only was he a darling, he was paid by many of these people. So why now? I mean, he's asking the obvious question out loud, and then it answered himself. I think the obvious answer is that he's someone who's a bit of a thorn in the side of powerful people, and he's pushing particularly powerful narratives and having interesting conversations with a lot of people. And it's probably not liked. It's probably not liked. So again, the timing isn't suspicious. We know what it is. We absolutely know what it is. That still doesn't absolve him of the allegations. So my answer to whether I believe them or not, I don't know. I'm interested, and the Russell Brand I see now and hear from now and observe now, though I'm not like a huge fan, like I watch him all the time or something, but I do, find him interesting and stuff. But and a benefit to conversations, I guess, and liberty. I think he's a benefit to that. I just don't personally like, oh, when's Russell Brand coming on? I'm not that person, but um I can't vouch for the person he was. And I think most of us, even people who like him and consider him a friend, they can't say that either. Now there's people who have had encounters with Russell Brand, and reporters reached out to them, and they're like, no, he treated me like a gentleman, and they didn't want to share that story. They didn't want to, they just wanted to find these negative stories to bash Russell, so they didn't talk about those things. So there's people who will say, no, things were consensual. We had a wild, crazy time, but he treated me well. So we just gotta let things play out. We gotta just kind of just let things play out. Megyn Kelly had a rant. She was pretty annoyed at everyone who was just quick to jump to like, oh no, this these allegations are crazy. So I'm gonna play a little bit of her snippet, and then I'll go through this article.
You guys, I realize that the knee-jerk instinct now by so many is Russell Brand is wrongly accused. These women are all liars. I'm sorry, this is extremely detailed. And in the case of the other woman, there's an actual set of medical records after she went to a rape crisis center the day of the alleged encounter, plus apologetic, begging for forgiveness text from Russell Brand. Could you please, for a second, stay open-minded to the possibility that the women are telling the truth? We don't need to so overcorrect from the Me Too movement that every woman gets completely disregarded and called a liar when she finds the guts to come forward and make an allegation. They may be telling the truth. It's worth investigating. We don't need to knee-jerk condemn him, and we don't need to knee-jerk condemn them. I'm just pissed because what I've seen is like a rash of guys coming out to be like, it's bullshit. You don't know whether it's bullshit or not. Did you read the report of this woman? Did you read the alleged rape details? Did you read the text message that she has from Russell Brand begging for forgiveness? There's at least enough for us to want more facts. That's it.
So, I think Megyn Kelly is right. I think while I can respect to a bit people stand up for their friend, y'all just know the man he is. Y'all don't know the man that he was, and obviously weren't too fond of that person from the outside looking in. So I just be careful about who they decide to how they handle this. I think you just gotta presumption of innocence and but investigate. Investigate, look, ask questions, but you gotta have presumption of innocence, right? So the quick dismissal, I don't think that's warranted. The quick destroy him utterly, I don't think that's warranted either. But what YouTube is doing though, don't like it. So YouTube suspends Russell Brand from advert income. This is from the BBC. The video platform said it. Let me go up a little bit. YouTube has suspended Russell Brand's channels from making money from adverts for violating its creator responsibility policy. The video platform said it was taking action to protect its users. Meanwhile, the BBC said it had removed some programs featuring the comedian and actor from its streaming services. It comes after he was accused of rape and sexual assaults between 2006 and 2013. He denies the claims, saying his relationships were always consensual. The BBC said it had removed some content that now falls below public expectations from iPlayer and BBC Sounds. Earlier on Tuesday, a YouTube spokesperson said, if a creator's off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, ecosystems, we take action. In recent years, the former TV and radio personality has repositioned himself, posting regular videos about spirituality, anti-establishment politics, and recently UFOs to his 6.6 million subscribers. I like how they mention UFOs to make him like sound kooky, even though people have been like, we had like a hearing and stuff on like UFOs, like that's been a conversation as of late. Um, he also posts on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Rumble. Other channels associated with his main YouTube page included Awakening with Russell, Stay Free with Russell Brand, and Football is Nice, which have about 500,000 subscribers between them. Sarah McCordial, Cordial, author and chief executive of social media analysis agency Corq, estimated Brand made about 2,000 to 4,000 pounds per YouTube video. He was probably making more revenue from YouTube than any other platform, she told BBC News. Everything existed to drive people towards his YouTube channel, so that probably was a significant revenue stream that has obviously now been paused. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not get 4,000 yet, so keep watching, guys. Keep commenting. However, Rumble is still carrying adverts on his content, so his ability to make money has by no means been stopped, she said, according to the company's house brand company and called Pablo's Diablo, legitimate business firm, saw its net assets more than double from 2 million to 2020 in 2020 to 4.1 million in 2021. YouTube's move will have some impact, but his audience is still there. They are very passionate. They want his content, so they're going to follow him. So, yeah, I think people will follow him, and I wonder if he'll post anymore on YouTube or just go straight to Rumble, because if he isn't making money, they're going to make this move. He might as well move everything to Rumble or just put stuff on Twitter. I don't think Twitter would take stuff down, but yeah, he's not. They don't know if he did or didn't do anything yet. So it's a knee jerk reaction, and the danger is that if you don't like someone, you can just accuse them of something, and then their income and everything. I mean, an allegation can mess you up and basically ruin you anyway, and then people have to claw their way back to be able to prove their innocence. And I think they should at least wait till they know there's something concrete, something they can really nail down, or if he's really actually charged with something. So that's really aggressive. So a lot of people are talking about this, and I wonder if other tech companies or whatever will make moves, like will he get his bank account frozen and moved or canceled and whatnot, because they've done that to other people who are controversial. So I just think they should wait. Again, you got to you got to have the presumption of innocence, and you can, but I think you should still investigate and look at the claims. um yeah, my sister said everyone's talked about UFOs lately. Yeah, everyone's. I guess I haven't though. We have not talked about UFOs on here, but a lot of people have, especially like Matt Walsh. She's very much a believer, it seems. So we'll see what else happens with this. But I mean, the deplatforming people is one thing, but and also taking away their revenue, especially if you're making a lot and they take away. I mean, it sucks when they just ban me for a week and I can't post for a week. And then so I can't make new content, and then and the last time they got me was over, out of all the things I talk about, it was an abortion interview. Well, I talked to a woman who worked with the Smart Women's Healthcare about what she does and her abortion and how she had healed from that trauma, and how she helps other people do that and other different risk or whatever. And then they're like, oh, well, you can't say things that go against the WHO on abortion or something, or NHIS or something. And they just kicked me right off for a week. So I do have a backup YouTube, FYI. It's in the description. There's, by the way, if you're not aware, on Facebook and YouTube, in the description for the episode, like every episode, there's different links for like Twitter and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, etc. So, and Rumble as well. Haven't really posted on Rumble. I need to post some more things on there, but I do have a Rumble account. I haven't gone live on Rumble because I think you need. I don't think it's free unless you have a certain amount of people there. So, I'll do that. I'll stream on Rumble too if I get those numbers. But you guys can go ahead and click and just follow me on all those platforms if that's where you also have accounts. And I do post, different things at different places, and mostly, it's uniform and a lot of the same, but um go ahead and follow at those different places, please. Do, because if something happens, like if you get a strike on YouTube, you can't even make a post. It's weird. You can edit a post though, but you can't make a new one. So you can't even make a post and say, hey, I won't be posting content this week because I'm on a ban or whatever. You can't even do that. So go to the website, sign up for emails so you guys can get emails. I don't spam people with emails. I don't send a lot. I should definitely send more. But you can go to the website, put in your email address to get emails, and follow me on Twitter and all these other places, so you can keep up to date, so you can know what's going on, and hopefully, up my numbers on those platforms and stuff as well. But yeah, we'll keep watching the Russell Brand story as it develops. But I my answer on him is I don't know, and I don't know how a lot of these commentators can be so stern one way or the other. They don't know him, they don't know the women and stuff. But we do know there've been high profile cases where things were just malarkey, you know, um, mattress girl and all kinds of different stuff. We know people get accused and their lives can be ruined for, and again, have to claw their way back to get their reputation restored. But we also know that there are women who have suffered in silence and were intimidated and couldn't say anything. And we talked about, that 70s show actor from last week and his conviction. Um, Gosh, he was terrible what he did. So it's worth investigating. You can't just, throw off stuff because other women weren't credible. But you should look on at the allegations and see if they're credible. I mean, some of them are a bit questionable. Like, you went over things that are at least common sense wise, like, ma'am, why? Um, so you can look at different allegations, and then if there's more evidence, follow that rabbit hole. But I just don't know. I don't know the answer right now. I don't know the answer right now. So I can't stick up for him other than um I'm glad he's different today than he was back then. And I like to think that he's the kind of person who wouldn't lie about this today, but he's also got a lot to lose. So who knows? Who knows? Last thing I want to mention today before I let you go, Libs of TikTok pointed out that a male was crowned homecoming queen. This isn't the first time this has happened. This isn't the first time this has even happened at this school. But I'd be so mad if I was a student. And I'm not the person who would have been nominated for a homecoming queen anyway. So I wouldn't have been mad as a competitor who lost. I'd just be annoyed, like, why are we in this direction? Why are we going this way as a community, as a school, as a country? Like, it's clearly a boy, doesn't belong in this category. If you want homecoming king to wear a dress and heels and whatever, that's your prerogative. He shouldn't be coming into the women's category. You shouldn't be coming into the women's category. So, and I'd definitely be TO'd as a parent. But this is going in Missouri, Oak Park High School. There is like an Oak Park out here. When I first saw Oak Park, I was like, oh, but it wasn't us. It somewhere else. Students in Kansas City, Missouri just got sent the message loud and clear. Boys are just better at things than girls are. Even at being a girl, Tristan Young, a male student who identifies as female, was crowned the homecoming queen this week. He beat out four lovely female candidates because actually identifying as a gender that you are is like so 2010. So look, but they're these kids are going along with it. See, this girl putting a sash on him, and um believe it or not, this isn't the first time a transgender student was named homecoming queen at Oak Park High School. Back in 2015, a different boy who identified as a girl snagged the title. We spoke with a parent in the district who asked to remain anonymous, and she was disgusted by the district's actions. She told us, "I'm appalled by NKC schools' continued support of the LGBT agenda. NKC schools says they are champions for all students, but apparently not women. Yet by embracing radical political statements like this, they not only indoctrinate children, but they are placing certain student populations over others. Having two homecoming queens that are boys is a disgrace to the NKC schools community. I hope more parents, community members, and district employees start speaking out and start protecting children." Yeah, look at that. um, Another parent told us, "As a woman, it breaks my heart to see these girls get passed over and a man stealing what is rightfully theirs. As a parent, I'm enraged that the school district is celebrating this on all of their social media accounts, conveniently locking down comments. On the other hand, I'm brokenhearted because I know the students voted for him. Although Kansas City is a liberal leaning area of Missouri, it is still more conservative than most cities. I don't know how we've reached this point or how to turn it around." So I and they're all just posing and whatever. It is what it is. That's they voted for him, and these girls are posing and they're just like, "Oh, it's kind of like the I don't know. Is it like the gay best friend thing? Like, "Oh my gosh. Yes, queen." And you just instead of that, it's just being a man who knows he's a man, but he's just gay. It's a man who's just a woman, and he's just like one of the girls. I never liked that stuff, by the way, either. Like in movies, and it's like, that's still a man. Don't call him, your sister. You can still use male kind of language. Acknowledge that you are all in your pajamas with a man right now. He's not like you guys. He's still a man. You may like men like you like men, but he is still a man. Don't treat him like he's not a man. Um, but what can you do when the society is pushing it to that degree? If you don't like it though, if you are a student at that school, and if you're a parent at that school, like I get these parents want to stay anonymous, especially talking to like libs of TikTok and whatnot. But maybe you should speak louder, because I doubt you're alone. I doubt you're alone. But if people are convinced this is the thing that you do, like if you look at the movie, Mean Girls, and I know that's just a movie, but it's so, such an exaggeration of things, but it is such a picture, a perfect picture of cliques and girl world, as they called it in the film. But so many people uplifted this popular person, even though so many people hated this person and they were terrified of this person, yet they wanted to be her, etc. and stuff. So people just kind of fall in line sometimes with what is being upheld as the thing, as what's the culture or what's popular or whatever, and they go along with it. So like even with a lot of political issues and stuff, like with abortion and stuff, some people, like so many kids, don't know anything about that subject, but but it's popular to be pro-choice. Like, "Oh, you hate women." Really? I'm a woman, bro. man. Like, or I mean, women will say that too, but they'll just regurgitate the crazy stuff and have no idea what it even means. They just know that their friends believe that, and their celebrities that they worship believe that, and they'll just repeat stuff. And um, you know, and they'll say it's not human. It's like, what do you mean it's not human? Like, or they'll do these trends like where they're pretending to be in a clinic about to get an abortion, or they're doing the yeetus the fetus stuff, and things that are just like really morally detestable. But it's a trend, it's a craze, and they like the attention, and they think they're on the right side of the of culture, because um that's where they hear the loudest cheering and stuff. But what they're cheering for is Barabbas, bro. That's what they're cheering for. So just because there's a lot of loud voices and a movement, people pointing one particular way, doesn't mean that you're on the right side of history, that you're morally correct. Doesn't mean that at all. It just means that there's a lot of sheep that are deceived by a lot of wolves. So if you're a dad and you're concerned about your daughter, you need to speak up. If you're a mom and you're concerned about your daughter, you got to speak up. And if you are offended as a young student, you know, you got to speak up. Um, but I understand people who don't want to, and the dangers that come with that, being bullied and whatnot, and having different privileges or whatever revoked from you, and how that might impact your job, or I don't know, your performance at school and your career. And there's a lot at risk for a lot of people. Um, but if someone's not willing to pay the price, I guess, for free speech, then there's going to be a time when it's not even, we may have it like on paper, really old paper, might be there. But in principle, if people feel that they can't even speak, is it a right we really have if we don't exercise it, or we're too afraid to exercise it? So buck up. You gotta buck up. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, different articles, videos, etc. If you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. Cost to stream, cost to run my website, all that stuff. And I guess it doesn't look awful or whatever, but you guys know that my webcam that I would normally use kind of broke, so I need to get a new one, and I need some other things as well. So if you would like to help with that overhead, I encourage you guys to go ahead and support if you can. But I understand that Bidenomics are really really rough on the everybody. I went to the grocery store the other day and I was like trying to guess. I'm like, I wonder how much this will all be, but I guess it wasn't quite as high as I thought, but it's high anyway. Um, it's just I'm just looking at different prices for different things. A pack of chicken, $14, and all that other stuff. And sometimes it's higher. And like, I remember when this when this was less than $10, and it wasn't that long ago when it was there, but it's jumped so much. And I'm just, looking at, other women in the grocery store. I'm just like, man, how they, it's just me. It's me and my sister who live together. I'm just like, how are all these people doing it with their families, with their kids? It's rough out there. I know, but so to the people who can and do support Black Tea at news at times, it's very much appreciated, and I genuinely thank you guys. And but I understand that everybody's not in that particular position. So I thank you guys for watching. I thank you guys for commenting and liking and all that stuff. YouTube does not always allow each episode to be monetized, but some of them are. So thank you guys for watching and encouraging other people to watch as well. Make sure that you guys, I assume you guys are subscribed, but also hit the notification bell. And when you encourage other people to watch Black Tea, make sure that they know to hit the notification bell. I don't know why they don't just like assume that people subscribe to things, want to see the things that they're subscribed to. But hey, that's how it goes. Anyway, thank you guys. Check out merch at our store, etc. And I'll see you tomorrow.